Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of T-Dog RC. Today we are looking at homemade battery packs. Now someone, whilst I was doing these the other day, someone came and delivered a parcel next to the front door, which is next to the garage, and looked through the window, which I had open, and they said, "It looks a bit like you're making bombs in there." And I suppose it does, and actually that's probably a good point to say these things are pretty dangerous. So if you are thinking of having a go yourself, you do need to do a bit of research first and be confident that you're able to solder okay, because if you get this wrong and you short the battery or something like that, these can pretty violently catch fire. I don't think they would sort of explode, but it's a pretty violent reaction, and it can of course cause fires and things like that. So I'd only suggest doing this if you are confident that you know what you're doing and you're confident with a soldering iron, etc. So I'm just going to go through quickly what I did, and we'll then cut to a sort of high-speed video of me building the battery. So let's get stuck in. Right then, so what I've done is I've taken three Samsung I've been using 18650 batteries. These are the 30Q batteries, so they're 3000 milliamp batteries, and these are rated at around about 30 amps, between 20 and 30 amps. So these are not really any good for quads or anything like that, but this should be ideal for, you know, your flying wings and that sort of stuff, because the amp draw should be fine on that. And in fact, I have seen a chap on YouTube, I think his YouTube channel is called RC Jets or something, I can't quite remember, chap based out in Germany who uses 21700 batteries, which I have got some of those here. They're like 18650s, but they're a little bit bigger, and the ones he uses are rated up to 40 amps, but he's putting them in EDF jets as 6S packs, and he's drawing like 100 amps from them, and I've seen how he makes them. He's not doing anything special, so obviously you need to be careful, but I think you know, you can get quite, when they're connected together, you can get a fairly high amp draw out of them, obviously just as a burst though, not continuous draw. So why am I making these? Well, we're in lockdown, so I've not got much to do at the moment, but so I thought I'd give it a go. But this pack, so this is a 3S 3000 milliamp pack. If I get my scales out here, and let's just quickly weigh this. So this weighs 164 grams basically, and so that's 3000 milliamps. And then this is a 2200 3S LiPo, and it weighs 185 grams. So this is lighter, but it's got almost an extra 1000 milliamps basically. So that's why these are quite attractive. Obviously, as I said, they're not for high performance things because of the continuous amp draw. It's not going to be as good as a LiPo, but definitely worth considering for wings, because you will get you know, a much longer flight time out of them. So what do you need to do it? Well, there's all sorts of ways you can do it. Some people spot weld these things and make special connectors and buy like copper sheets and cut them up and all that sort of stuff, which, you know, if you're going to be doing this a lot, then that's fair enough. But as an ad hoc thing that I'm going to be doing, I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. So I just used a standard soldering iron. So this is my little soldering station. This does maintain the temperature, and that's important. You want to get this as hot as possible and have it so it maintains the temperature. So if you've got a controlled one like this, that should be ideal. But you don't need a huge, massive soldering iron, but it does need to maintain the temperature. And then solder is the other big thing. Obviously you need solder, but it's what sort of solder. And you really need to use leaded solder. Because the stuff that you can buy from most places these days doesn't have lead in, and it's it doesn't stick very well, and it needs higher temperatures to get it to melt. So this stuff's way better, and to be honest, I'd recommend this for anything, any of the soldering work that you do with your planes, I'd get lead solder if you can. And it's easy to get hold of. A lot of the model shops sell these, particularly like flyintech.co.uk, and this is Team Black Sheep solder. So this has got this is lead solder, and this is really nice to use. So that's pretty critical. And then obviously balance lead. This is a 3S balance lead. And then I've used some silicon 14 gauge silicon wire, and I've used that for both the XT60 connection, which is something else you're going to need, and I've also used that to join the batteries together. And then finally just some heat sink to cover the battery in like this, and I've just stuck a one of these labels on it so I know what it is. And I've just used insulation tape for the tops and the bottom, but you can obviously go further with this, and you can buy some special, I think it's called fish paper and all that sort of stuff, but I just went with insulation tape and this, which was pretty cheap. So that's, oh yeah, let me just show you this one last thing. So this is the diagram. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but this is kind of just a diagram that I drew up. And it's important that you follow this, because I've said if you get the why wrong, it can end pretty drastically. And the last thing you want to do is burn your house down. So do your research, make sure that you're confident you know what you're doing, and don't do it in your bedroom or a room in your house or something like that. Do it somewhere where if it does catch fire, you can sort of throw it out the way pretty quick and you're not going to cause any damage. But if you're not confident with that, then obviously I wouldn't even attempt to do it. So let's roll the high-speed video and see how it went together. Just quickly before I do that though, thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. GoPro, stop recording.